Hi, everybody, and thank you so much for joining me on Tribe Talks. And this is our very first recording of an actual tribe. So I follow this lovely gang of ladies on Instagram, and they're the Budgeting Queens of Instagram. And what I'm going to do, first of all, is get everybody to introduce themselves to you. And then I'm going to ask them an awful lot about their tribe and how they found each other and how the belonging has really helped them in their personal journeys. So if we start at the top here with Ellie. Ellie, can you tell us who you are, how long you've been doing this for, and the name of your page?
Yeah, my name is Ellie. My page is Planning and Finances. I've been budgeting for years, and it just wasn't in Ireland, and until kind of more recent, maybe the last year or two, and that's when I found everybody else here in the community.
So how long have you been kind of doing this publicly?
Just over a year.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ellie. Yeah. And Ruth, you're next on my screen. Tell us who you are, what your page is, and how long you've been doing this out in the open.
Out in the open, last September I started. My name is Ruth and my page is Mrs. Hawkins' House. And yeah, talk about all the budgets and all the food, all the frugal food.
I'm going to move over to Santis here. We're going to do a Caribbean dove here on the left-hand corner.
Hi, my name is Santis and I am the Caribbean dove. I came on to Instagram in 2019 to clear my debts, mainly for accountability and motivation.
Actually, doing it publicly is great for accountability, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no going back.
There's no escaping, is there? Tanya.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Tanya. I am the credit union hun. I have been budgeting badly for 10 years and I've been budgeting semi-well for about 18 months. So yeah, the credit union hun came about when myself and Santis were sat in work, and I was like, I'm going to tell you something. I got a new budget book, and then she's like, you budget? I was like, I budget. She's like, have you heard of Dave Ramsey? And that was kind of it. But I kind of stayed hidden for, I'd say, about 6 or 7 months till I felt really comfortable in myself and kind of putting my story out there at the risk that people I knew would see.
Yeah.
So after a few months, that kind of shame just went, it is what it is. And the more people you speak to, the more people you were realizing we're in the exact same situation. So yeah, credit union, fun.
Awesome. And actually, that's a lovely segue into, how we go from, how do I tell people about this? And that kind of fear of judgment to where you guys are all now, which is public pages, inspiring so many people. And then you have this gang. And I know you've loads of other budgeting queens and kings, I'm sure, that are part of your gang as well. But tell me how you moved from that point of, oh my God, how do I press public to your journey now? Maybe Tanya, you carry on from where you were. Like, how did you make that move of, I'm going to do this?
Yeah, honestly, at the start, I kind of felt ashamed that I was in debt. I was on my own and it was only me and Sarah for a long time. But on paper, I had good money. I had all this stuff. I had a lovely car, I had a lovely house, I had everything. But I was that middle earner that earned too much to kind of get help, but I wasn't earning enough to cover the costs. And then my way of rewarding myself for getting by the previous month was to go out and buy a new car. I obviously could not even a little bit afford. But after a few months and that kind of page and accountability, and then just people reaching out. And then honestly, the day I spoke to Santis in work was really the day that I realized you're not on your own and there are other people that really, really get you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just once you've kind of gone, and that kind of, yeah, I'm in the shit. This is where I am. And that's when you really start, I think, looking down the barrel how you can fix it. I was a big fan of sticking my head into the mud.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you kind of get out, it's scary for a while. But then once you start hitting things off, then you kind of get that motion. And the whole community is just, you're getting people you don't know in America saying, oh my God, you're killing it. Whereas other people will be like, especially in Ireland, there's such a stigma attached to money. It's like, you can't talk about money or stuff like that. So after a while, I was just like, you know what, this is it. this is who I am. And it's I think once you start owning it, you don't care anymore, you know. So and then as soon as you're true to yourself, that's when people start absolutely gravitating towards you, that are meant to gravitate towards you.
Lovely. You've said so many. I'm scribbling away here because you've said so many things there, and I'm going to come back to a lot of them. But how you found each other? So then you and Santis worked together.
I was a trainee cashier, and I was 19 years old in Amiens Street. And I remember starting, and Santis was a little deputy manager. And I was like, oh God, right? You were a deputy and you're on mute.
I was never a deputy in Amiens Street. I got
sorry.
a job.
Apologies. I apologise. That's what I was told. But I remember Santis just being this ball of energy. And Santis, even to this day, and this is how she ended up coaching, I got the same thing wrong maybe 50 times in a row. And not once did she get cross. Not once. She's like, okay, we'll keep doing it. We'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
So Santis always from the start had that kind of imprint on me.
Mm-hmm.
And then moving on, I didn't talk to Santis for years and years. We were just in different districts. I moved out from one side, she was the other. But every time we did see each other, it was literally, I was 19 again. You know, it was that kind of, that's where it all, basically that day in the North Strand, it all came out and the two of us were sitting there, like Santis was eating her at lunch. She didn't want to drive home for a break. She didn't want to use the petrol. That was literally the start of, not the start, I think you were a few months into it. But it
I was
was
just going to ask you that actually. Were you both at the same point in your journey?
God no. She's set free. I just added to mine.
But when you met each other, were you at a similar point of, you know, foot in the water, kind of figuring it out?
No, I was already, I think it was about, I'd say it was about April or something. I think I was already a few months into it, was a few grand down, paid off.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really tell Tanya because I wasn't really telling people in work, even though you're the Caribbean dub or you're getting your little, it's only in the debt-free community that people know you. Like normal people are looking for fashion and stuff like that. They're not looking for pages that are giving advice on budgeting. So there was no hope. I wasn't really telling people, although I was out like in the debt-free community. Like my friends didn't really know. If they did, they weren't saying it anyway, you know.
Yeah. And what did that moment feel like when you both kind of connected on that level?
Oh, I felt relieved. It was just like, oh, I can bring me lunches in here now.
No, he's judging the paper bag lunch here. Like literally it was, but I think that little portal there kind of, because you see I was on my own with Sarah at that stage. Santis was on her own with two kids, and we kind of were we were both trying to, I didn't have a mortgage, Santis had a mortgage, she was two kids, juggling that with work. And I remember thinking, right, if she's doing it, and she's managing to somehow make this work, there's no reason for me to be sitting there with my one child and my easy minder to not make it work. So that was kind of, it was just the push I kind of needed that day. That budget book was crap by Santis.
When ready, Santis, every time somebody mentions it,
it's up behind her.
There it is. And tell me then, who was next into this gang? Who arrived next?
Ellie.
Oh, so Ellie, how did you find Tanya?
I was looking up the debt-free community on Instagram because I'd always followed it just on YouTube and Instagram. And there was somebody on YouTube, Sunny in California, San Diego or something.
Yeah, California.
Sunny in CA.
Yeah. And she had mentioned that she was on Instagram and there was a hashtag. And I was like, oh God, never thought of Instagram for the debt-free community. And when I looked it up, I found Santis. Santis started talking and she started mentioning some things. And I was like, is that girl from where I'm from? And I was like,
so weird.
Know her. And we actually lived 5 minutes apart growing up.
Oh my God.
Mothers went to school together.
No way.
Yeah.
That's bad.
So we were like, so I said to her, I think I know you, you know, and I found out she actually knew my sister. She remembered my sister.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, so we connected and we were like, oh my God, there's someone who lives down the road that's nearly like I am. And that was it. But in the meantime, I've been talking to Tanya as well,
Uh-huh.
getting to know each other through Instagram. Yeah, and just start.
Elle tried to help me. I think she's saying there was a few posts about me being kind of lost and where to track. And Elle being Elle was like, I will sit you through a full lesson. We'll get there. And she's just from day one, you just get this like whack of kindness off Elle. Like, and she would literally sit there and do an 8-hour presentation about how to use Excel. Like. And that was, I think, the kindness. And then me and Elle were discussing how we both really like Santis. Santis has been discussing how we like Elle. So we kind of just said, hey, let's like each other together. That's literally how it came about. Like we were on the same vibe, so different, and we were all on such different journeys, but it just kind of meshed from the get-go.
Yeah.
And
Actually
again,
strange.
Elle, when you met the two ladies, were you at the same point in your journey?
No, I was debt free by then, and I was paying down my mortgage.
Yeah.
So we're all at completely different stages.
Different stories.
Yeah. I was at the stage where I was just, staying debt free and saving to pay for insurances in full and pay for house renovations in full and things.
You know what? I think that was so helpful though, is the fact that we were all seemed to be on a different step. So I was trying to get where Santis was. Santis wanted to get where Elle was.
Yeah.
And it was all just kind of going. Elle was trying to be a bit more spontaneous. Like I was being too spontaneous at one. So it was kind of this, like, Sarah, we were all trying to be
unreal.
Like, yeah, it was crazy. It was really, really crazy.
And what I'm feeling is, even though you're in different parts of your journey, you could identify hugely with each other, obviously. But it sounds like it's a zero judgment.
No judge.
No judgment.
I love that.
I think what's good as well, we're at the age where you've been through all the crap, and you realize that what you really want in your life is positive people. And when you see you're gravitating towards them, you're almost grabbing them going, yeah, come on, come on board. And it's been, for me, it's been the best eye opener I think I could have ever wished for. And I'm not just saying that lightly. Sure, we're crybabies. I love you.
At the same time, we will quite happily tell the other what they don't want to hear. It's a no judgment zone, but it's like, okay, get over your crap.
It's also an accountability zone then.
And pushing. And if everybody thinks they're everybody has their own self-limiting beliefs, where we don't really think, the insecurities come across. And it's just so nice to be in a group where you can go and literally say, lads, I think I'm going to bring out a budget. I'm actually going to tell you the secret. I'm bringing out a budget book and I don't want to tell anybody because I'm superstitious. Tanya is literally like, where is it? What's going on? What does it look like?
Why isn't it here? Why
haven't I not seen it? And I'm like, because if I tell you, I'm going to jinx it.
I remember, I was like, girls, I'm thinking of doing these cash envelope things, and they were like, why are you still thinking about it? Where is it? And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, I'll do a sample. And they were like, no, just do it. And I was like, okay. So I just did it. I
was talking to Ruth in passing one evening, and this was the thing, Ruth had talked to each one of us in passing. And she just kind of casually went along. She was this cooking page if you went onto her page, she was like homemade bread. And she's like, oh yeah, in 2017, she's like, I paid off a few loans and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what did you pay? And she was like, oh, I cleared, I think it was about 10 grand. I was like, what? And she's like, oh, I done this thing called, a no spend year, no big deal. I was like, oh, what? And she was so nonchalant about it that I was like, what is wrong with these people? I pay 50 quid off extra and I'm like, I'm budgeting. She's like, I might have kind of, but moving on. I was like, no, we are not moving on.
This is why
and then Elle one night was like, would you mind if we added someone in? And Santis goes, it's Mrs. Hawkins. And I said, it's Ruth, isn't it? And she goes,
I told
yeah.
you this the other day, Ruth.
I love
Didn't
that.
Because
I
literally,
told Ruth this the other day. I said, me and Elle were literally thinking the same thing. And we kind of had our little, you know, and we're like, oh, will one person come into it? And Ruth used to always comment on my YouTube. That's where I really remember you from. I remember you were saying like, oh, I love the shopping halls. I love the food halls. Little did we know.
Love it.
She loved it. And then I said, there's a girl, like there's a lady that I think she'd be brilliant. And didn't know her. Didn't know you. We were just messaging back and forth.
Yeah, little bits of.
It wasn't even deep messaging. Sure, it wasn't
Not
really.
really, no, it wasn't. But I think you can get a vibe sometimes off
A
somebody.
vibe. It was just right, you know. We're all believers in being attracted.
I remember seeing some of Ruth's posts, and I think he'd only started Instagram, and she had a budget book. She was writing stuff out and highlighting stuff, and then she had The Secret, and she talked a bit about law of attraction, and she'd mentioned something else, and I was like, oh my God, we're twins. Like we're
highlighters,
and because I was like, I didn't know many people like that in my life. Like
me neither. Well, not that I'm aware of. Maybe people around me everywhere.
That's true.
Don't talk about it, I suppose.
Yeah.
Love it all, highlighter.
Yeah.
You're looking for a good highlighter, go to Ellie.
Absolutely.
Planning and finances.
I'm obsessed with Ellie. I hear you. I'm obsessed. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was just, you just connect with people, I think.
Yeah.
And we really just did.
We talked to so many people, and we'd all talked to a lot of the same people, but for whatever reason, this one just kind of meshed together, and that was it. Like, it's,
you know, I was saying to Santis the other day when you mentioned that, I was like, or maybe I texted in the group, I can't remember, but you're taking a risk when you add somebody into such a close group, because it can kind of just, sometimes it just doesn't work. Like, it's not that it's necessarily answered around with whatever person, but sometimes it just doesn't work, like, you know.
But we all have our different days. I think some days, Seth, was it the day before yesterday on that group? I went back to work and I literally came back 280. Now, there will be literally tumbleweeds go through that group for 2 days. And I was like, can someone please summarize this in 30 seconds in a voice note? I was like, we're going to Montserrat. Elle's going to be a millionaire and I'm moving to the mansion in London. And I was like, okay, this is what happens. You can't leave them alone for 5 minutes.
Just to fill in our audience, I'm in a little WhatsApp group with these guys, and I turned me back for 5 minutes the other night to do some washing up, and I came back to like 48 messages. I was like, oh my God. And then Santis today was asking where the Zoom details were, and I was like, right, I'm just going to scroll through about 60 messages to find where I popped it.
But Steph, we won't talk then for 3 days.
No.
Literally, we'll text in on a Friday morning and say, have a great morning, ladies, blah, 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 kill it. And then we'll talk again, maybe a message on Saturday. Yeah. We don't.
It could be randomly like, okay, guys, I really want to hit it hard next week. You know, does anybody want to get up early? Motivation, accountability, like it's all there.
Mm-hmm. It is 5 a.m. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Honestly, God, I think we did that for a week. But
But if you put your goals into that group, you can bet your ass you're going to be accountable for them. Because there will literally be people on your case every day going, what have you done to get closer? Yeah. What has worked? What has not? You know, and it's literally to the point of aggression. You know,
where it's like, have you done your homework? Seriously,
why
do your homework?
But you know, the reason I started Tribe Talks was I'm really interested in belonging, and Santis and I, we talked about it a lot on our Tribe Talk. I found belonging really, really hard until I hit my 40s, maybe. And I think that's so common and people don't talk about it. And, you know, through COVID, I've been talking to a lot of people about their chronic loneliness. And what I'm getting from this, and this is the reason I wanted to do this, is what you've just given me is kind of a shopping list for how to find your tribe. Like, it's so interesting, all the stuff you've said, you know, kindness, being true to yourself, being able to say in your group, I've got this idea, and there's no cynicism, There's nothing. There's no judgment. Like really, I think people could watch this and say, okay, if I want to find like-minded people, okay, this is kind of what I need to do. This is the kind of people I need to look for, and I find that so interesting, and how you're all been on a hard journey and a challenging journey, and a journey where you really pulled out of the bag challenge after challenge after challenge, which is very hard. And it's amazing what you guys have done for each other throughout that, that those challenges, how Santis and I now are coaches, and what are coaches? Cheerleaders. You hold people accountable. You hold a mirror up to people. You help people with their self-awareness. But you guys do that as a group for each other, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been a coach without these, I'll tell you now.
I friends 20 years that I wouldn't feel comfortable going and kind of throwing this idea out for fear of, that's stupid, that won't work, that won't.
Yeah.
To be able to go to that group and just say, right, this is mad. This is away with the fairies, but what do you think? And it's, some of them have come to no fruition, but it's just being able to soundboard your ideas is huge without fear of judgment or people thinking, oh, do you hear this idea? I can tell you here now, none of these have ever talked about any of us behind their back.
No, never once. No.
Yeah.
So to get that kind of friendship where you'll be called out for your bullshit, but also be absolutely pushed. Like if you say you're doing something, you're doing it. With no excuses.
No demands as well. I think that's the big thing. Sometimes I can't literally, like sometimes I've been there where I don't know, there's 200 messages and I know I'm not going to have the time to go through them. I've missed a moment. But I don't feel that I have to go, lads, I'm so sorry. Like, and someone's going to go, oh, she's ignoring us, or I don't get that. There's no demands. It's a grown-ups group as well in some ways.
Yeah.
In
Like
most
sometimes
ways.
someone might just say, listen, lads, I'm just so tired and busy. I just need to switch off. And everyone's like, okay, take your time.
So there's no like sensitive feelings, and nobody's going to go around.
You wouldn't have long with sensitive feelings.
There's no need for sensitivity as well if you know that you're in a positive space. You're only really sensitive if you feel that there's something negative, there's a thread there. If you don't feel that, then there's nothing to be sensitive about. It's just a laugh. It is what it is, and you don't have to second guess anything anybody says.
I have to say that's one thing about this group. I have laughed so much, and I don't think COVID and this lockdown would have been as easy.
Same.
Laughing
It's true, actually.
The laughing.
We do that ourselves. That's the thing. It's usually like, and it's just that release of just like, like if it was censored, we'd be banjoed, that kind of way, because sometimes we go on like silly 12-year-old boys. It's the only way I can describe it. Like
in-betweeners.
Yeah. You spend so much of your life being this tense professional, and you're trying to advance in your career and be the perfect mother, and you're trying to be all these million people. Really, you just want to be your 15-year-old self in the park drinking cans, and it's that's what the group is. It's kind of just that.
I think that, I don't know what it is. I think sometimes it's like someone was saying, when kids are young, they dance. If they put on a song, a child will just dance to the song. They don't care what way you're looking at. They're not trying to practice moves. Their body hears the music and they just dance. And I think for your whole life, you kind of go away from that, but you're really running towards that just being yourself and not trying to put up any mirrors and, not hiding anything. And I think that's what this group is all about. God knows, you're right, Tanya. Don't know what I would have done without you throughout COVID.
Come here, I was going to say to you, I found Santis through when you were on, maybe you did the takeover of Tara's page. Tara's page, and I think one thing that I love about all you guys is that and because I'm not a budgeting queen, obviously my husband's the budgeting queen. He doesn't watch YouTube, so what I'm saying that. But I love mindset. Mindset is my thing.
I love it,
and I get that from all of you. So I really connect with you, Santis, when you were talking about your mindset stuff and just your way of living. And then I don't know how we found each other, but I remember you were really early. It was before you even put your face up on your page, and you and me have the same sense of humor. send each other stuff that we can't ever put on our pages.
No. You fit perfectly in.
Very similar sense of humor.
Yeah, no, you probably put something up, and I probably went, oh, or something. You know? But yeah, I don't remember. I just thought I really liked this. I really liked it.
Yeah. That's how I found Steph. It was like in the middle. It wasn't. I didn't find you that long ago, Steph.
No, I
And
think
I
she was
remember
a
I
lady.
was run down to the ground working from home, and you put up this post saying, "Don't be hard on yourself." And I was like, this post has literally. I was sitting on Instagram. I was after telling Sarah to shut up because after a day of work, and the last thing I want to do is sit there and it was your post, and it was like, "Don't be so hard on yourself." And I remember just reading it and just going, "Yes, I'm not like this." Actually spoke to my soul today. I was like, oh.
I found your page, Steph. I think you'd only 100 followers at the time.
Oh, you've known me that long, Ellie?
Yeah.
No way.
And
Ellie told me about you.
I told Santis, when Santis was saying about the coaching, I said, you should follow this person called Steph B.
Isn't it weird?
Yeah. And
Law
that's how,
of attraction.
Oh my
Isn't it
God.
so weird?
Oh, was that before I interviewed you, Santis? I interviewed you
Yeah.
ages ago.
I think
You messaged me in the stories and said something like, you should be a coach. You said
I told you that a long time ago. Yeah.
You said that to me. But Ellie had already told me
See, Ellie,
that you were a coach.
yeah.
And then I was just, and you were saying to me, when I told you I was going to do the coach, and you were like, I told you this. And then I was like, nah, Ellie told me already about you. But this world is too weird for me right now. Step back.
that's what I love about Instagram. Because I wasn't in social media really pre-Steph B, just the usual private stuff. But I find that accessibility in Instagram, and like you've all described your conversations you have with people, I see you guys inspiring people day after day, and it's amazing. And somebody said earlier, I think it was you, Tanya, and I think Santis as well, you said about the stigma attached to money and the shame around money and how we don't speak about it. And
Yep.
I'm just so blown away by the people I've met through Instagram, and I've got all these different little gangs of people that I love hanging out with, and you're educating me, I love how Santis, you were educating us during the Black Lives Matter campaign, and I love that on Instagram. It's so accessible. You can ask questions, you can, and I posted something about from Brené Brown the other day, and I love her and I want to be her when I get older. She said, I'm not here to be right, I'm here to get it right. She was talking about this whole woke culture and how she said, I get it wrong. I sometimes use the wrong names for disability or cis, or I get it wrong too, but being curious and being open and being respectful. And I love that about Instagram. Where you
that's a big thing in the deaf-free community as well. When the whole Black Lives Matter, when that started gathering, I was getting triggered every day. And people don't realize that I was falling apart because another thing with stigma, like I suffer with anxiety, so I overthink. And when I say I overthink, it's debilitating, So when I was seeing that everywhere I looked, it was like something else. And you just seen people that look like you're getting beaten, and you start things that you had locked away with yourself and you probably accepted as normal came out. And I went through, I was just posting. I couldn't help it. It was just all coming out on my page. And usually it was hardcore budgeting, But then I was just like, I'm going to just tell everybody who I am and what's about me and nobody. There was actually one girl, and she was kind of messaging me, and she said, okay, can you stop talking about this now, or something like that, she said. She was the only person, but I just said, look, just unfollow me. Like, I don't
page.
Like, get a grip, But the deaf-free community, what happened there was a lot of people, it's people I talk to like hard now, that were like, I have a neighbor and I don't know. They felt that then they had kind of somebody that they knew who weren't going to judge them because we're in something together, and they were able to come and say, you know what, I never thought of it like that, or I don't agree with that. And instead of me, I don't get insulted unless you're literally coming for me. I won't. I'm like, I'm just happy to have this conversation. Yeah. And it showed the strength of that community right there, when people just felt so comfortable to be able to go, I don't know how to go forward. I didn't know anything about this. What can I do? you know, once you're going through something and you see something else, that was such a big thing for me. I think even you, Tanya, you were like, I don't know what to say, or you know.
I said I wasn't, because I've actually witnessed firsthand what Santis, like I've seen her being called X, Y, and Z in the shops and retail. And you don't know what to do. Like, this is the thing. And when that all came up, I was like, I'm not going to pretend to know how you feel. I don't, I can't, I couldn't. I don't know how to make you feel better, but I'm here if you want to just, you know, and just let it all out. And if there's ever a case that you feel I'm not acting in a way I should, or I'm referring to stuff in the wrong way, please let me know. And Santis would. If I went to Santis and said, like, what's the correct term here? She's not going to go, what do you mean? What's the correct term? Or
you never learn. If someone can't ask you a question, how are you going to learn? Like,
oh yeah, that was me. I don't know how you feel, and I didn't know how she felt, and I can't imagine how I'd feel if that was people of my culture and my bloodline that I'm watching that kind of stuff happen. So it's a whole different ballgame, and anyone that tells her she knows how she feels or anything like that, in my opinion, needs to be from Munster. And then you'd know all about it. But unless you are from that background, you've no right to kind of say, I know what it's like. You don't.
That's like, it's like me. I'll never know what it's like to live down in Galway. You know, Ruth. I'll never know. Like,
real struggles.
I might get close one day, but I'll never know. So I can't tell her how to behave and what way to act and how to see things. And like, and I think that's one thing in the group as well. I think community, like you said, Steph, it's free, and I feel so free just to be myself all the time. And I literally don't care, you know.
My page, like that, I didn't show my face for quite a while. And one day I just did it. And the reaction was people going, oh my God, like, and people responded to you more. Like you were helping people. So then it didn't matter that my face was out there anymore.
Because you're not ashamed.
No, and I felt I was like, okay, now I really am helping people. Like, from the messages that you get on a daily basis, from simple things, people saying, oh, I started budgeting, I seen your page and I've cleared this amount of loans and I've done that. And you're like, this is why I put it out there. And like, I didn't tell anybody about my page, my family or anything. And then my job found it. So, and that was like, oh no, like, you know, going, oh my God. And they were.
And tell me, why were you worried? So talk to me then about, and maybe you all can tell me a bit about this. So you go public and friends and family maybe eventually find out, or you tell them or whatever. But tell me about the work thing. How do you all feel about work knowing about your pages?
None of my work, no, as far as I'm aware.
How do you know? I didn't think anyone
I
knew.
still remember the first person I actually knew in real life followed me. I nearly died and deleted the page.
Really?
Tanya, work knows.
Powers no. But I don't think, like, my actual, the corporate side of Powers, I don't.
Get you, yeah.
But I still remember, and to this day, it was one of the girls who actually worked with in Powers started following me. And I'm not a word of a lie, Steph. I was like, oh God, they know who I am. And I hadn't even revealed my face at this stage. But it was just kind of bringing that, like, smash realness to it. I went into a panic. My sister is the only one out of, like, my direct family that know about her. And I'm no ashamed of it, but I just don't go around talking about it. Anyway, my little sister, yeah. But Elle went. How long does it take you to go public, Elle? 6 or 7 months?
Few months, yeah.
And what was your worry about work, finding out, Elle?
It wasn't like, I hadn't been in my job long. I was in a new job. So a very new job with people that, you know, like, they knew quite a bit about me because I'm fairly chatty. I don't really hide at, even in my jobs or with people that I know. But it was just something that I hadn't broadcasted, you know, on social media, you know.
Yeah.
And it was one of the girls on my team. She was like, didn't want to say it on a group call, but just to let you know, we found you on YouTube. And I was like, oh, okay, like, and they said, well, actually, one of the girls in HR found your Instagram, and so she contacted me and she said she'd like to do something about budgeting within my company. And it was really good, but what happened was her sister-in-law had said, you know, oh, you should look at this girl's page, she's really good. And she went on and went, I know her. Yeah, so, but it was positive, but that was more my insecurities.
Yeah.
You know? And they were so positive about it, and I was like, oh, why was I so worried?
Yeah.
Mrs. Hawkins took a while to.
I was just going to say that because I remember messaging you and saying, "Are you going to show your face at any point?"
I'm not sure when it. Do you know what it was actually? I did all my debt-free stuff, like the kind of the no spend year and the Dave Ramsey stuff. I did all that stuff in a UK Facebook group, and I often tag Claire from Claire's Journeys and others. That would have been in those groups. Like Claire, it was actually Claire's group, and I was admin for the time. But when COVID hit, I had you know, my no spend year was over, and I had kind of paid my debt that I wanted to pay off. But then I went off all social media at the beginning of lockdown because it was just too much for me, because Robbie lives in the UK and in a really hard year. So I was like, I don't need any extra information or pressure from anywhere. I need to focus right in. So I just went off it. And then I kind of missed the kind of crack that you'd have with people online, or just that little thing to do kind of. So I started on Instagram, and I was doing like kind of hinching and that kind of stuff. Or I could be cooking another day, or I could be painting a chair with chocolate. I just was putting up pictures for the crack, basically. And then it was getting towards kind of September, and I was like, I just really, really want to talk about budgeting. Like I've always wanted to do it. I came into Instagram really wanting to blog and to make a business out of it, to be honest with you. And I just didn't really have the courage to do it in the beginning. And then I was like, you know what do you act like? You know, you're nearly 40. Like it. So I did. And I just started talking about it, and I found you very quickly, I think. Actually, Santis, I heard you on the Ryan Tuberty show before I ever had an Instagram or anything. It was
Ryan.
Was it? Yeah, good man, Ryan. Was it 2018? Was that your year?
2019.
Yeah, it was 2019. I would have been on in November. I think I only had $4,000 left to go.
All right, so that was the November. Yeah, I actually, would you believe it, I was driving out of Galway, and I don't know, I was in like bad form that day, but I was listening to you on the radio. I was like, oh my God, somebody in Ireland knows Dave Ramsey, or was doing this thing. I pulled in on the side of the road. I actually pulled in on the side of the road, and I started crying because I was like,
oh, you started crying, right?
I was just like blown away that somebody else was doing the same thing on the other side of the country around the same time as me, and like it just sounded like you had like you just really committed to it, and I was like, oh, I would love to have had
Wish I would have known you then. Like, yeah, you were like that. Yeah,
it would just really touched me for whatever reason. And I think kind of then I saw another few people who were doing stuff, and I was like, I saw Kel's article. I think I looked you up on probably Instagram on like a kind of a fake page or whatever, because I didn't really use it at all, but I was like, I need to find this girl. And then I noticed Kel as well, and I was looking through stuff, and I realized it was this little bit of an Irish debt-free community. I had followed all the Americans as well. And since then I was like, oh, I really, really would love to do the blogging thing or whatever. So it was, you planted the seed.
I just think the law of attraction, like we're all about that this week, but I really believe that there's no coincidence that, I think I said this to you, Ruth. I remember saying, I always said, I just, like, I have pockets of friends, like I have a friend there or a friend there. You might not be as close with them, but like I said, I'd love to just, it's kind of like the groups of girls that I've seen. I could see it going vicious. I could see the bitchiness. Yeah. And I always said, I just love to be around people that kind of think the way I do, because I don't look at things from a bad way. I wouldn't, to bring anybody down. I'm kind of like, where you going? I'd ask you the right questions or maybe the wrong, but never with like anything bad and behind it. But I always wish for this, and I just think it's not by chance that we're all just happen to be in a group and we happen to getting along, and the growth in us as people, even since we've all joined,
Yeah.
it's crazy. And not just the deaf-free community, but even our little
Yeah.
our little WhatsApp club.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. And I think I said it, and I think all of us have kind of admitted that as well in some ways.
Well, you've actually moved me on to my next question, which is, do you think you can identify the difference that this tribe has made to you in your journey? And I'll start with you, Ruth. Can you kind of identify the difference this gang has made for you in your life?
Well, the friendship anyway, without question. If there was nothing else behind it, if I wasn't, on this blogging journey, friendship number one anyway. But then, like, on top of that, then it's like, oh, this is actually real. I'm actually, you just tip along, do little bits, and you're like, oh, it's nice, I'm enjoying that. And then they're like, oh, you've got a blog. And I'm like, oh, I do. It's real. So that's what I find with it. It's like you've got, like you were talking about, the reflection kind of thing, that you don't see things in yourself and other people see them, but they're actually saying to you, you're good at this, or this is a really good idea. And I'm like, oh, right, go me. And I think we do that for each other, and it pushes us along. It's really positive. The whole thing is really positive. But if there was
Get out there and sing.
The first time we kind of all got on a Zoom and chatted all together, we didn't talk about budgeting at all. That night we just talked about everything and anything.
Yeah.
Such a laugh.
For hours. I nearly fell asleep.
Yeah.
Had a little power nap and I woke up again.
Because that's the interesting
laptop there while I sleep.
That's the interesting thing, and you touched on it earlier, Santis. I hate being put in a box, so I put on my bio, like, yes, I'm a coach and I'm all into self-development, and of course that's what my page is for, but I want to put up pretty dresses and I want to have a laugh and put up jokes. Like, I need to talk about books. Like, I'm a sharer, and that's for me what Instagram is about. And people who don't want to follow you because you're not doing your thing, it's like, don't make me do my thing. Like, I have many things. How do you all feel about that? Do you like your page being strictly about your budgeting journey, or are you a bit like everything?
Talk about anything.
Or, I don't know the girls now. The rest of these are way better at names, but like, I forget names of people I've known 20 years, so it's no offense. Clutter Free Minds actually shared a post about that the other day.
Yeah.
She wants to get on a healthy journey.
Yeah.
And she actually felt like she needs to put up a box to say what people mind. Yeah, this is your page. People follow you for you, and if they leave because of that, that's it. I share disgraceful memes.
Mm-hmm.
I share horrific language.
Yeah.
I share, but that's, you have to kind of, and Ruth and Santis and Elle would also have these days where they're just like, I just need to be me for a few minutes. I need to not be the face behind the budget. Ruth does send me off. What was it, Ruth, you had up the other night that I was in? I actually commented.
I don't know. I don't plan anything, lads. I just lash stuff up. Like, that's Instagram for me. It's just.
No, I was physically crying into my phone. I was physically crying into my phone. What was it?
I don't know what it was.
Don't find it.
I get the most fun out of Ruth's question boxes. But that just gives me life.
She's great without question. Anytime.
Love her question. I love anybody's question box. Put up a question box and be like, all right. It's really where I get my kicks.
No, it's one of my questions from one of my budgeting lives was, how much should I budget for wine every week?
What is a budget? I asked the IT guy in work when I started, what's the internet? Just to watch his face drop.
What was it? She called something mighty or something. I was just like,
was it just punchy? See, that isn't funny to me. That's my culture.
Yeah.
Oh my god, my battery's going to that.
That's like our culture. Come on.
I think a little while ago there, I was actually taking it a little bit seriously, and it's only recently. But I was kind of, like with life going with college and everything, and you're bringing out a planner. You're like, oh Jesus, I just want them to stay and buy it. Like, stay with me and buy the planner.
Yeah. Don't leave me with thousands of planners in my garage. Please.
Not thousands, I wish.
At least they're undated, Santis.
I was like, every day, buy the planner. Planner, want the planner? What are you doing? Did you have the planner?
But you weren't even though. That was the
No,
thing.
you
That was actually
didn't.
another thing the group done, because Santis was like, "Oh yeah, but I don't really want to push people into buying." I was like, "Oh my god, you have spent months perfecting this piece of like
Art.
beauty."
Yeah.
When Ryan Tuberty, I got a shout out from him. That was law of attraction. I'm mad for that anyway. I just sent it in. But Elle, get the pens up. Get the pens. I was like, oh my god, take the picture, trembling to write.
Ryan Tuberty is the next person into our 5 a.m. club. FYI.
You know what? I'll tell you this honestly. Tanya is the CEO, right?
Amen,
She's
girl.
the CEO, hard working. Probably sometimes I think she doesn't realize how actually great she is. Not good, great she is. Elle is a businesswoman. Elle is a hardcore businesswoman. Now Ruth, meticulous.
Yeah.
I think, and when you're around that, I feel like I couldn't, like I was looking at the planner going, I can't tell these because they are so, like you when you're around a company, you keep. So when you're bringing something out, like Elle's planner that's going to be coming out, her binders, she is so like meticulous. Everything is like so perfect. Ruth, a blog is not going to go out unless she's double checked it again. That kind of way. So when you're around that, it raises your level. I was like, I can't bring out. I was like, I can't bring out just anything. I can't just do anything because I feel like the group that I'm around, they just won't have that.
Yeah, but it's not in a judgy way by the sounds of it. It's like,
no, it's just a natural thing. Yeah. I realized that a while ago. I was like, I'm here. I was looking at pens and I was like, no, I can't just bring out that pen. I just can't no. Because I know.
After the weight of the bed.
I did.
My word, that is detail.
Yeah, but
it's to do with post different things.
Yeah.
That is such an L thing.
But you have to understand, imagine you're HR, imagine you're in work and everybody is up to that standard.
Absolutely.
You can't come in, you can't walk in.
Absolutely.
And look,
I'm a huge fan of that. I'm a fan of hiring your weaknesses, hiring people who are better than you. And what they say, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. I am such a fan of that. I want to hire people. Like 100%. In our exec team, I'm the first person that sees, if we're hiring another exec member, I see them first. So they kind of have to get through me before they get to anybody else. I'm looking for people that are going to teach me, right?
Yeah.
And it has raised my game again and again and again. And I'm just like, give me more. It's so exciting when you get out of your own head and stop kind of worrying about, it means I'm not good enough. No, it means like the cream rises to the top. Yeah.
It means that you need to grow. That's all it is. And that's what life is all about. No one knows everything.
Yeah.
That's another thing about the Irish debt-free community, though, is that it's not a case that you only have one CEO and then the rest are kind of support. There's room for everyone in this stuff. Yeah. My paying off my debt isn't going to affect Santa's paying off her debt, and it's that constant. You can level up as much as you need to. It's not a case of one stepping on the other.
Yeah. So we've been talking for ages, so I'm gonna do a quick fire round now. Okay. I'm gonna ask you, and you've all got to go instinctively now, right? This has to be fast, no thinking. I'm gonna ask you some questions to see how well you know each other. Okay. So the first question is, which of the group is the most private?
Ellie.
Really?
Yeah.
Ruth, who are you thinking?
I would probably say, I never really talked about that, but maybe, yeah.
Okay.
And who do you think is the most private?
You better come out, Ellie.
I would have just said literally, well, none of us were so open with each other. A little bit more probably Ruth. I think Ruth.
Oh, are we talking on the page or in our group?
I hadn't really put as much thought into that. So I just mean generally, who's the most private?
I haven't been in the group for as long, so even though I don't feel in any way like I don't know any of you
I feel like I know
as
Ruth.
well at all, but maybe you
Because
just
actually, it's funny when I said to you,
niche down, Elle, to your page. You know exactly what you're doing on your page, and I kind of know you as Elle, who's planning and finances.
Right.
Maybe that's why, I don't know.
No, I think Elle probably gets a bit overshadowed sometimes when we're coming at her, you know.
I
don't think it's by choice.
I'm quieter in a group situation. So with the group chat with the four of us, I would be probably quieter. But if I'm on my own having a drink,
Yeah,
you know my whole life story.
yeah, yeah, true, actually.
Yeah. I'm not very private at all, actually.
I'd say we're probably then, I don't know,
Yeah.
pulling back Tanya now. Like, we're probably just all open. All right? You're not
Okay,
getting us that way, Steph.
who is the most likely to end up in jail?
Tanya.
It's true.
We all concur. Who?
Oh, for good reasons.
Exactly. They deserved it, Tanya. They had it coming. Who is the most stylish on a budget?
Santis.
Santas, yeah.
Oh, by a long way.
Boom.
Jesus.
Have you seen the scarf?
That may be one of the first reasons I started following you. But I was so impressed with your head here.
I think I have a really big head or something. I can never get them to fit around my head. Not a word of a lie. Like, I literally tried
I did videos and everything. I did videos and everything how to get the scarves on.
That's gas. I seen that video the other day. I don't know how I came across
I
it.
actually need to start doing them. I have more fun like that.
Yeah, Santis by a long mile. Long mile. Yeah.
Effortless, like.
And then you worry when you put it. I did a couple of
You're
videos.
real nice because you seem like a scruff.
So you
We've
come on
seen
and
you
do a
both.
video and you're shining, like you're just
Yeah.
fabulous.
Okay. Is there one question you always wanted to ask each other and you haven't? Or have you asked everything there is to ask?
There's nothing, like you just
I don't
literally
think there
go
is.
into the group. It could be anything. Like it could literally be anything. No, I'd ask.
Thinking.
Honey,
what's coming on?
Shit.
What's the name of the man out of that program you watched?
Oh, the Duke?
The Duke. What's his name?
Reggie John something.
I'd like to know how you could pick him over Tom Hardy.
I wouldn't.
No, I know you wouldn't.
Tom Hardy.
Me and Ruth have the same.
I am manifesting him into my life. Oh, I'm not joking.
I did. I broke Santis's heart the other day. I said he's not in season 2. Yeah.
This Bridgerton.
And someone tried to break my heart today saying he's married, but I Googled everywhere and we can't find a wife. So
is he happily married?
That's not stalkerish at all, Santis. No.
that's the question I need to ask. Is he married?
Who is the control freak?
Oh,
I think I am a bit as well. I think everybody, that's one of my values, control.
Are you all? Would you all say each of you are? Or who is
No,
I don't think I'm a control freak. I think I'm too
I
late.
don't think I'm a control freak, but I do think I like, for me, like budgeting, like if you're into budgeting or anything of structure, is a level of control there. I didn't realize until I did coaching that I was like, I actually do like having, not in loads of things, but the things that I know that can affect me, I'd like, and I can deal with. Especially when you see the other side of it when I have no control.
I was about to say, I wish I was a control freak.
It's a wild west here, you know.
I want to be organized so much and I try so.
I try too, but I'd like to be somewhat in control of things, like to have a plan.
Yeah.
Maybe that's more of it. Maybe I wouldn't say I'm a control freak because I think a lot of people in my life would go, no, you're not.
It's discipline, though, isn't it? It's a chosen discipline. It's really, and that gives you some control if you can apply that when you need to, kind of.
Especially for your mental health. For me, the reason why it's so important to have a level of control over my money is because it sits right in my head. I don't want to be thinking about it.
But
I don't want to be sitting there.
I find when I have control with my budget, I have my money sorted. I don't have to be in control of other things in my life. I can have
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Freedom.
and so because that's sorted out, I don't stress and I am free then to
Yeah.
so that's why I never feel like I'm a control freak, because
Yeah.
really make plans. I'm more of a hey, you free right now kind of a person. You know?
Yeah. I'd be like that.
Yeah.
Oh no, I
So-
like my plans. Actually, maybe I am a control freak. I have none of these spontaneous meetups or anything like it. I need 2 weeks.
I'm very hit and miss with that. Like
Yeah.
I love my own company. So
Yes.
I'd probably be in control with that as well, because I'm like, no, tomorrow's my day, or I'm gonna give myself a few hours now because I need it. So
That sounds like
no, is
boundaries.
that control?
Yeah.
No, that sounds like healthy boundaries. And
Yeah.
kind of self-care, you know?
Yeah.
My-
Big on boundaries, Steph.
Yeah.
My best friend, God bless her, Emer, she is literally, she gets every part of me. Like, so we were basically having this Zoom call for weeks. We were saying for 3 weeks we were going to have it. And after work from Monday to Friday, and all I do is Zoom. And I was literally, this was when my mental health was really declining over the lockdown. And I was able to text her that day and say, I love you, but I'm not even going to make him because Mark was on duty. So I had the house to myself. I had no kids here. I didn't want to go on the computer. I said, I'm going to sit there and watch more of the documentaries and drink a bottle of wine. And she was like, that's fine. And I was like, yes, they are the friends you need. Like,
Yeah.
you need to be able to just switch off and just
I think, to
not
be
do
honest,
it.
they're the friends full stop. They're friends full stop. I think there's a thin line with friendship, you know. Are you a friend? If you're not here to respect my boundaries and where I want to go with my life or what I'm doing or what I'm saying, then are you really a friend? Because I can't be myself around you.
Mhm.
Maybe that's a 37-year-old Santis now thinking that.
Good. That's
Yeah.
good.
And when you
Own-
find it,
own your friends.
you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know
Actually,
about anyone else, but the night you have the house to yourself, the last thing you want to do is see people. Like,
it's
that's
so
me.
bad.
I need to just like
No.
recluse into Michelle and just have that night to myself.
Yeah.
Ruth, do you ever get a night to yourself?
Well, you see, they're older, so it's totally
Never.
different. Like, they're great crack now.
Don't
like,
start, Ruth. Don't
know-
start, Ruth. Okay.
I'm Robin Ruth.
I get to sleep.
I'm
I
robbing
sleep
her
for
for
a whole
weekends.
lot. I don't get, like, I get lie-ins. People make food in this house. It's not me. You know,
I get my eyelids pulled open. Like, Mommy, are you awake now? At least 3 times a week.
Is it time for a snack?
Louis, he comes in today with a watermelon. Are you gonna open this now, Mommy? Are you gonna open this? I'm like, how did you even get up? Did you sleep? It's 7 o'clock in the morning.
yeah. All that's behind me now, guys. That's why I look really well rested. That's very organised now.
With 2 girls as well. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm so lucky, like my husband's been here and also my mum, you know, so like I can't really say it's affected me as much,
Yeah.
you know.
I'd love you to tell whoever may watch this, if they are lonely and they'd like to find a tribe, have you got one piece of advice?
trust your
yourself.
gut.
Sorry.
Let me go around. I'll start with Ruth.
Be
You don't-
yourself.
How would you find people like you though?
Well, I suppose Instagram, like, to be honest with you, like at the moment, what else are you going to do? And to be honest with you, going forward, okay, fine, there might be people in your area, but I mean, I haven't met none of you people
I was just
in,
gonna say that.
real life.
I was just
But
going to say that. Have you ever met these guys in real life?
no, and like, but
Wow.
these are quality,
Yeah.
lifelong friendships. I hope we'll always have.
Yeah.
So
We will.
don't discount Instagram or Facebook or whatever your thing is, and just be yourself. Go on and be yourself, and you will find people will come to you.
Yeah, that's great
Done.
advice.
That's it.
Great advice. Tanya, what's your advice?
Trust your gut. Whoever you're talking to, trust your gut.
Yeah.
100%. You'll get that vibe. You'll get that vibe in your belly, and that will be it. It could just be a 3-word sentence, and you'll get that vibe.
Yeah,
You'll know.
love it. And Santis?
They bloody took my 2, they did. Just don't be afraid to just say hello.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to just check in with somebody, say hi.
Mm.
You know, one of my friends says, "Oh, when you move down the country, people are so much more friendly down there." And I was like, "But do you say hello to anybody on a regular basis? If everybody thinks that friendship is somewhere else or people are friendly somewhere else, they don't act like that in their back door. You know, they don't say hello or so. Yeah, just be nice to people around you."
Yeah, great advice. Ellie, do you have anything?
Mine was just online, like what Santa says, just reach out and say hello first. Like sometimes that can be the hardest thing because I'm shy. Like I'll talk to people that I know, and people find it hard to believe that I'm shy.
Yeah.
To reach out and message somebody, like at the end of the day, what's the worst that's going to happen? They don't reply or you don't get along. But you never know what can come out of a little witty conversation or a comment that you reply to somebody. Just something like that, you know. And like that, as the girl said, just be yourself then. Don't try to say, "Oh, I love that too," if you don't really. No, because you won't find people that you get along with. That
Somebody could be so lonely at home as well. Like that's the thing, they might be scared to reach out, and somebody could be. You need to throw out to the universe as well what you want to get back though. So if you want positivity, you need to kind of radiate that. If you want people to be approachable, you need to go out and give that. Like you need to be willing to
100%
be knocked
smile.
back. Like Santis would still talk to people that are 20 grand in debt and making all their own decisions. Elle will talk to someone that doesn't know how to use clip art. Ruth will talk to someone that shops at Marks and Spencer's. It's not closing down to people that aren't like it. You know,
that's
so
boring.
Right.
I'd hate to live in a world where everybody was just like me.
It's the dream one day though.
Also, that's where you guys are making a difference though, do you know? Is with those people who are willing to put their heart out and go, I shop at Marks and Spencer's. Why am I not?
Marks and Spencer's, it's one of my goals.
Can I tell you, can I give you a little
And
tip?
them cookies, you can't beat them anyway. The fresh cookies and the pistachio cookies, I will never give them up for nobody, and it is what it is, okay? Actually, tomorrow, I'm going to Marks and Spencer's tomorrow. Look what you did.
Anyway, thank you so much, guys. That was awesome. I'll say bye-bye to everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.